The Beatles had dominated the world by their 64 tour of America, Europe, and Australia. Where many countries had spread their music, they either re-released their UK albums or by making their own. This process would be repeated in 1965. Like A Hard Day's Night, released in '64, their second movie, Help, gave the fans more of the band, and would later tour the US throughout August, including their famous Shea Stadium concert on August 15th, 1965. Rubber Soul officially began recording in mid-October, with a very strict recording schedule to meet with the holiday deadline. Within the time crunch, the band began to expand with new sounds, including new instruments. The near month full of recording was made quick thanks to experience, and arranging the music was rapid in late '65. With new sounds came new instruments, including the sitar on Norwegian wood via George. The first day of recording Rubber Soul technically was June 17th, where they recorded 3 takes of Wait. Curiously, this was also the last day of recording songs for the Help album, 13 takes of Act Naturally, Ringo's song, and orchestral overdubs onto Take 2 of Yesterday. October 12, 1965 is when Rubber Soul began recording. 5 takes of Run For Your Life were recorded this day, alongside Norwegian Wood, This Bird Has Flown. Take 1 marked Best. Norwegian Wood would later be remade more than a week later. The next day, the 13th, they rehearsed and recorded 4 takes of Drive My Car. The 4th day recording, the band recorded Day Tripper in 3 takes, alongside an overdub onto Take 3, and Take 1 of I Needed Someone, one of 2 of George's new songs for the album. 2 days later, on the 18th, they overdubbed onto Take 1 of I Needed Someone, alongside recording 3 takes of In My Life. Day 6 was October 19th, 1965, recording the Beatles' 3rd Christmas record. Recording at the Marquee Studio in London, press officer Tony Barrow led this recording, where the band followed his script about having a pirate radio station. Deemed unusable due to the constant ad-libbing, the band re-recorded this at EMI. The next day, the 20th, they focused on We Can Work It Out, 2 takes and an overdub, similar to that of Paperback Writer in 1966. On the 21st, they would remake Norwegian Wood into takes 2, 3, and 4, alongside Nowhere Man, the first 2 takes. The next day, October 22nd, George Martin overdubbed his piano onto Take 3 of In My Life. Later, the band focused on remaking Nowhere Man into takes 3, 4, and 5. Take 4 being the best, it received overdubs. Paul's new song, I'm Looking Through You, was focused on October 24th. With 1 take of I'm Looking Through You alongside an overdub, Take 1 would be marked Best, until the song would later get remade twice in November. In finishing the month of October, the band made another overdub onto Take 2 of We Can Work It Out. To start November, on the 3rd, Paul's song Michelle was recorded in 1 take, which would then be reducted into Take 2, and then overdubs would be done. The next day, the 4th, they recorded 1 take of What Goes On, one of John's earlier compositions, which was supposed to be recorded back in March 5th, 1963, but George Martin rejected that in place of One After 909. Alongside with that, 12-bar original with a rehearsal and then 2 takes was also recorded. 2 days later, on the 6th, I'm Looking Through You was remade into takes 2 and 3, but none of these 2 are reused. On November 8th, 3 new tracks were recorded. Won't Be There For You, aka Think For Yourself in 1 take, the Beatles' 3rd Christmas record in takes 1 to 3, and a curious track, Beatles Speech, take 1. We have no clue what this is supposed to be. 2 days later, on the 10th, they recorded 3 takes of The Word and remade Paul's I'm Looking Through You in take 4. The final day of recording, November 11th, they recorded 2 takes of both You Won't See Me and Girl. After that, George overdubbed guitar parts onto Wait, take 4, alongside additional overdubs onto take 4 of I'm Looking Through You. Just 8 days during these sessions was when the album was mixed, alongside November 30th, the final day of recording, day 9. Recorded very quickly, like all other songs for this album, 12-bar original here was mixed last. So this was more than likely a jam they maybe chose to scrap later as inclusion on the album. Rubber Soul saw the beginning stages of the more experimental music the band would then propel into 66 and 67. Even through the tight time crunch, the band adapted to make their music and influences. November rehearsals at the Donmar Rehearsal Theatre and going to Roddy Mal Evans' apartment, they were putting together a set list for the upcoming 1965 UK tour. Upon the release date of Rubber Soul and the Day Tripper / We Can Work It Out single on December 3rd, 1965, the band had begun their UK tour. 9 venues were chosen for their UK tour. A new film called A Talent for Loving was scheduled to be filmed from January to March 1966. Cancelled because the Beatles rejected the idea back in October, the 3 months of 1966 gave the band new experimentation done during the Revolver album. As George Harrison has put it, Rubber Soul and Revolver are like Volume 1 and Volume 2. In these 2 albums, you can see a definite shift from their more mop-top side to their more experimental and more moody side that they wanted to express in their music. It was clear by then that new sounds and new ways of expressing themselves was what they wanted more, rather than pleasing the fans with them not being able to hear themselves. I was going to make a video on Revolver, but because of the new remix set released earlier this year, I decided to scrap this idea. So I hope you enjoy the video. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.
I'm looking through you. Take 4.
Paperback. Paperback watch.